Alex, it's you and I today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, actually. I'm very good for multiple reasons because it has confirmed that Gunji, my favorite Jedi, has survived Order 66. A lot of you may not know what that means. You don't need to. It's okay. I'm happy, though.
Well, you should go watch Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh, it's just so good.
Daniel,
it's the best thing.
Daniel, if you're listening to this podcast,
yeah,
go watch Star Wars Clone Wars.
Hey, Daniel, how could you?
The series, not the movie, just to be clear.
That's Attack of the Clones.
No, but they had the Star Wars Clone Wars movie.
Well, there's the 2-part animated one, from 2003. Yes. That's not bad, actually. You know what it does really well that I don't think Clone Wars does well?
What's that?
Portraying Grievous. He is a legitimate. He's actually very scary in it. He
is very scary.
He's great in it. When in Filoni's Clone Wars, he's just a bit of a meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you want to open the show with?
I don't know. You put it on Twitter. You fed it to me Thursday night. You fed it to me Thursday night.
What did I say on Thursday?
They won.
Oh, because God, yeah. J. Cole.
I feel like I love. I listen. You said it, not me. But I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, they won, and I just, it's awesome.
Go out Nighthawks. We'll wait to open the season.
I'm a company man, you know.
Of course, top man.
Exactly.
There's going to be Star Wars talk later, but unfortunately, we need to talk about hockey first. But Daniel's not here because he's doing some stuff for his sister's birthday, so. We don't know who. I just realized. Do you know her name?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't feel as bad now for not knowing. But happy birthday to Daniel's sister. You know what? His parents planned it out really well because it's so close to his birthday. They nailed that. Maybe they didn't carry the 10 over because it was a few days late, like a week or two afterwards. But they tried. They tried. Daniel. They tried. So yeah, we're as promised. At the end of the show, we're going to talk about Kenobi. The first 2 episodes, they were great. Happy.
They were great.
But some stuff to open the show. First off, Sammy Vatanen is a gold medalist. I am so happy. Team Finland, 40 minutes ago, beat Canada in the World's finals. For anyone who was like, "Oh, the Worlds are going on," same. So that happened. Armia was good, but Sammy Vatanen. You know who the captain of Team Finland was?
Joel Armia.
No.
Okay.
I didn't know this guy was still playing because I guess he left the NHL. Valtteri Filppula.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
he is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised he's not in Edmonton.
I was going to say that, or it was Detroit. The Islanders had him for a while.
Well, Edmonton because of Ken Holland.
Exactly. Yeah. Mikko Lehtinen was on that team too today. And I was like, oh, yeah.
The NHL references.
Yeah, man. I mean, who cares about Heiskanen? Harry Sateri, I think, was the backup goalie. But just disappointing for Canada. But Sammy Vatanen, the Hats put out a picture of Armia celebrating. Yeah. And in the picture, Sammy Vatanen's there. And I was like, I wanted this. Maybe if they had signed Vatanen, they would have beat Tampa. Probably not, but let me dream.
They did that for I will. They knew. They did that for you.
The admin knew. I was so happy. Yeah. I forgot Vatanen was around, and I saw his jersey. I'm like, for Sammy.
Right.
He's playing.
He'll probably be in the NHL next year.
He better be.
I mean, I hope.
Right. And if you're trading Petrie, you need a cheap replacement. Go and get Sammy Vatanen. I'd like that.
Over a point per game in Switzerland this year.
Do not go over. Do not give Chris Letang too many years. Go get Sammy Vatanen on the cheap, please. I've been yelling about that for 3 years. Let's give him a chance. Oh goodness, Alex. There's a lot going on. There's all my dogs barking.
Good, bad, the ugly.
There is definitely some bad and ugly. You know what? Then because a lot of this episode is a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Let's get what is the more difficult stuff to talk about, and let's bring that up first. And that is Rick Westhead. Believe it or not, who else? Tweeted about a settlement that has been reached between a victim and a suit that involved Hockey Canada and that. Alleging, and this is, before I keep going, I should say, what's the term? Trigger warning, because a lot of this is not easy to talk about. I believe the term you would probably say is adult subject, very difficult stuff to talk about, because this woman is I shouldn't say woman, but she is alleging that 8 members, and the verbiage is kind of mixed up here, 8 CHL players that were not limited to a former World Junior Team Canada, sexually assaulted her. Now, this is a topic that we, for obvious reasons, have to be very careful the way we talk about this. We can't sit here and spend half an hour dissecting it like we did with the Kyle Beach stuff. For numerous reasons, we don't know the names of these players. I think so far, Cale Makar, who was on that team, but obviously was not a CHL player. Mm-hmm. His agent has confirmed that he is not one of those players, but he coordinated with the investigation. Because obviously people are worried, like, am I cheering for someone who could have been involved with this? Someone that's alleged of committing pure evil, in my opinion. I don't think it's an opinion that if they did what they alleged to have been doing, I don't think there was a word to describe how awful that is.
Yeah.
We don't know the players. People are going over Instagram pictures, and no, because that's not how legal proceedings work. Through court, there was no guilty verdict or anything. There was a settlement reached. We don't know all the claims and all that. First and foremost, you always want to believe survivors, because there were idiots on Twitter saying certain things, and you don't want to give them any sort of fuel of the fire. But you hope that the survivor is. Listen, the details in the Rick Westhead report are very difficult to read, and the details are just gruesome. I want to say I hope this person is okay and they're getting help, but I just don't know if this is. It was mentioned on Hockey Night in Canada and on 32 Thoughts, but they're sort of holding out because they want to get more details about it. But we're going to continue talking about this, as the details come out. It's just at the moment we wanted to bring it up, mention that it is out there. We are going to talk about it. It's just like what else can we say right now, Alex? It's horrible.
It's horrible, and I don't think I don't know what else to say other than what you said about the incident itself. But I mean, I feel like I've ran through this point before, and I feel like I should go through it. I feel like it's a good time to go through it again. Obviously, you mentioned it was Rick Westhead. Surprise on that one. Mm-hmm. And I think, yes, they mentioned it on 32 Thoughts on the Saturday night broadcast. That's great. That's beyond what they did for Kyle Beach. But now that they want to wait until more comes out, how do you think Rick Westhead is doing his reporting? Right? Like, I think the point I'm trying to make is Rick Westhead's doing this reporting. Nothing is stopping the other big guys in hockey from also doing this reporting. So it's great. I'm very well aware the playoffs are going on right now. But if I'm being frank, the playoffs do not matter when it compares to this story.
The Beach stuff took a back seat in the playoffs as it went on last year. I think we can all agree that it did. And at the time of it happening, too, right? Yeah, also very true, unfortunately.
Yeah. So again, obviously, there's no point in going through and speculating on names. I don't think that makes sense from our standpoint. But I will say, again, this is a grade A opportunity for the media who, during the Kyle Beach conversation, for the most part, failed to properly talk about it. They now have a grade A opportunity to report and to talk about this incident or incidences.
I want more details here, because obviously, apparently, the victim claimed that Team Canada weren't investigating it, but they've said otherwise. I need details here. Obviously, yeah, the thing of, here's the worst thing that can happen here is, the worst things happen, unfortunately, or is alleged to be said. But the worst thing you want to do is then you look at that exact roster, and the NHL then sort of said they were all world junior players, which Rick Westhead's report was saying that it could have just been CHL players and some of them as part of that world junior team. So I'd like to know, is the NHL kind of off there, or is Rick? I find it for either of them being off there very difficult. Because say what you want about the NHL, I mean, I'd like to think they were a little particular with details, especially like I saw people saying stuff like the NHL they can't sweep this one under the rug too, which I'm not seeing people wrong in saying that, but I think people were a little confused here that this, again, if these players are in the NHL, then I think the league need to do something about it. I don't know exactly what you can, again, I don't know, because if nothing was proved in court, I don't know what you can do unless NHL contracts have a specific behavior, bad attention, like we talked about with the Arizona Coyotes, that sort of misbehavior type clause. But I think I'm not trying to say people are dumb here, but I think people also need to realize this wasn't an NHL event. I'm not saying they don't need to do anything, but this was a Team Canada sort of more double I think it was some sort of charitable, like maybe like a golf tournament or something. So I just because I think some people think that this was an NHL event. I think we need to make sure we have all the details right here. Mm-hmm. But the league, if there are players here, and people are saying that there are certain players that are now Blackhawks, which we don't know confirmed, but you got to think about like that. If you're the Blackhawks, for example, if all they've been in like headlines the past year, I can't imagine if the names come out and there is nothing done, all hell has to be broken onto this league, because they were so quiet with the beat stuff, and there was a fine to the Blackhawks, and that was it. The Coyotes got more crap for illegally testing, making kids do push-ups in shorts. It was awful, right?
It was ridiculous.
The league, I don't know exactly what they can do here, but whatever it is, they cannot mishandle this. This cannot happen again.
No, and I think you're spot on with that, and I think everyone's looking at the league, but I think who we should also be looking at, and probably more so than the NHL itself, is Hockey Canada.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
I know we all want to. I think a lot of the times, because of their history, we like to continuously look at the NHL, and there's the 99.9% of the time they absolutely deserve it. They absolutely deserve to be the center of attention. But based on what details we currently have, I think a lot more eyes should be looking at Hockey Canada. And I guess the CHL too, if we're going to include them in this. I know they were a main part of the settlement as well.
They would have to have found out, because obviously it's their players. Mm-hmm. But then, like, this was, I think it was the 17-18 World Junior team. Yeah, because the 2017 was silver, but this one was gold. Because I think, I obviously, like, this is like a notable World Junior team. I believe Carter Hart was on it. I'm not saying that these are obviously players who I think did it, but some of the names we mentioned: Cale Makar, Alex Formanton's on this team. Drake Batherson, I believe, is on that team. So there are significant players here. So also, besides just the league itself, I'm curious. I want to know a timeline, unless I miss this, Alex. When was this suit filed? Because in that case, you also have to be concerned about the teams who had, if these are drafted players, which normally, when Canada, the World Junior team, they basically normally all are. How have those teams handled it individually with a player? That's also something I need to know, is how have those organizations handled it?
I am just going through his Westhead story now.
Yeah.
I don't see a date of when it was filed.
It's all about when the incident happened, right?
Yeah. But there's quite a few guys who are in the NHL, which I'd say the majority of them have been in the NHL. And I think one guy who was in the NHL at the time.
And that would have been Victor Mete. because he was playing and then they loaned him to Montreal.
Yeah, but like the majority of this team has played in the NHL. Pretty much.
It is a notable team.
It's really extremely notable.
So we'll see what happens, and we're going to keep talking about it as more stuff comes out. But again, you hope to God that the victim in all of this or survivor is sometimes a better term to use, is okay. I can never imagine what an experience like that is. It's difficult to read, but I would encourage you reading the Westhead stuff, that article, because the guy continues to do great work with this kind of stuff, and he's got the balls to report these more difficult stories, and I got all the respect in the world for Rick Westhead, like a model journalist. Okay, it is, again, as we say, a difficult turn to make, but from here we're going to talk about the playoffs and everything going on and previewing some of round 3. We're missing one team in the puzzle, and that's because the Rangers and the Hurricanes are going to 7 tomorrow. We're going to have a look at Jason Spezza, who retired, obviously. Some stuff about the Canadians, mainly just talking about how the Combines tomorrow and the Habs are going to be with Shane Wright. So I think from here, Alex. Oh, and then obviously we're going to talk about Kenobi. So I think first we should mention is the Colorado Avalanche. I'm saying this because I'm a little biased here. I do love the Avalanche. Excuse if you can hear a motorcycle or something. It's very difficult. The St. Louis Blues, I felt they did a good job of sticking in this series, but I don't think they ever really deserved to win it. And I'm not just saying from the off-ice stuff here, but I think St. Louis were kind of lucky to make it to 6. But anyway, game 6, with a few seconds left on the board, Darren Helm scores, and the Avs win. They get past the second round finally. Over the hump for the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, and I think that's like, you know how you were talking about it with, I believe the Leafs, where you're saying if they make it past the first round, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Yeah, in a good way. Yeah. And I wonder if you could kind of say the same thing with this team, with the Avalanche in a way, because it's been their hump. And man, like, I don't know. I thought the series was one for them in game 5. I thought going into game 6, I thought they had it, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest myself, I thought the momentum going into game 6 was very much on the Avalanche's side.
See, McKinnon was so good in game 5. Like that goal, the hat-trick goal he scored was, I was speechless watching it. I wish I could pull off in between the legs goals as well as McKinnon can when we play NHL, but alas, it wasn't quite enough. But in that game, I thought going into game 6, McKinnon was going to be unstoppable. But I didn't think Darren Helm would be the guy. But that's what the playoffs is, right? It's just, You expect the Stars, but all of a sudden here comes, remember one of those second round series that the Avs lost, I think it was the second round, was against Dallas. I think, was it Vegas that Dallas beat in the conference finals? Again, I had my jaw surgery, so I don't remember.
No, in the year they went to the Cup.
Yeah,
the Cup. They beat Winnipeg in the conference finals.
Did they?
Pretty sure
Dallas did.
No, Vegas did.
Vegas did. Okay. Wouldn't that been? I thought it was Vegas.
Sorry, which year are you talking about?
The year Dallas went to the finals. Sorry.
Oh, yes, I believe it was Vegas, because
the reason
Vegas beat Vancouver, and then they had the hibby-jibbies because of Thatcher Demko.
Okay, so the point I make is because in that Avalanche Stars series, remember the legend of Joel Kiviranta?
Yes.
And I think Hutchinson was in that for the Avalanche. It was a whole thing, but
I'm aware.
Listen, I look at a series where, and we're going to talk about Edmonton, Calgary in a second, because the Battle of Alberta was just as manic as I thought we all thought it was going to be. Hopefully, we wanted more games, but Jacob Markstrom and the Flames said, no.
Yeah.
That's enough fun for you.
Jeez Louise.
But I am so excited to see McKinnon versus McDavid. I feel like McDavid listened to me say that McKinnon was better in those playoff runs. And he's like, all right, I took this personally. He first round, he's like, okay, whatever. Phil Deneau, defensive, not get out of here. Second round, Cap sees me saying the Flames are going to wipe the floor with, get out of here. He's actually coming after me personally. Is what McDavid's doing.
Yeah, he really is. And I think that's going to be such an interesting series just because like, oh man, that's going to be really fast. I think that's going to be like despite just everyone's going to be beat up, but like, I just think that's going to be a super fast series. Like you look at McDavid and I mean, Draisaitl's barely hanging on here, but he's still showing up. It's just going to be super fast and I'm very excited for it.
It's funny that a big problem in that Flame series was the Flames almost were like every time they dropped the puck in, it was Smith. And we talked about Smith just breaking it up.
Yeah.
I don't think the Avs are going to be that much shooken by that because they feel like to me a team that we know how good they are on the rush, but like it feels like, and maybe this is going to be a little less effective because Sam Girard's out, but obviously Makar's pretty damn good. But the Avs are really good at actually carrying the puck in themselves on break-ins or as zone entries, I should say. Sorry. So I'm interested to see how Woodcroft adapts to that. Also, I am very interested to see what they do, the Avs that against Mike Smith. I still have that concern.
But I think it's always going to be a concern. And I know there's people who are going to say, well, hasn't he proved himself? Sure. But I think there's a track record of at any point he can fall off.
Yep.
Right. And 40. He's 40. And I think that's reasonable to say. I think like if he's how many 40-year-old goalies are consistent like that?
Hey, yeah, not many. And right? Daniel would say something about Brodeur, but no, Daniel.
And I think that Colorado can just come at you wave after wave after wave after wave, and I think that's gonna be tiring. Like Colorado, I think this year is probably the deepest team in the league, forward depth wise.
I think the Panthers, I think, had a deeper forward core, but we saw what happened there.
Right. Okay. But in the West, fine. Fair.
In the West,
they're definitely.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Maybe
especially once they got Lehkonen, I thought that.
Right. Like maybe you can look at the Flames, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, the Flames. Yeah. Fair enough. But then the Flames.
That's the only other team.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in this series. I have a feeling I know what's going to happen in this series, but that's for another day.
I would assume, by the way, it's pretty easy to say that McDavid is obviously the if the Oilers win, he's the Conn Smythe winner. Or do you give it to Markstrom? Because the Oilers would never have done it without him.
Oh.
So listen.
Do they if they make it to the final?
Yeah.
And let's say Edmonton loses in the final.
Yeah.
Is it still McDavid's?
Are they playing Tampa?
Mm-hmm.
No. Because Vasilevsky.
Okay. Right.
Vasilevsky, I think, is the only guy in the way of Connor getting a Conn Smythe.
100%. If it's any other team but Tampa, it's Connor McDavid.
Yeah. I think so.
Agreed.
He has been unreal. It's been a joy to watch. Absolute joy to watch. Okay. And we'll talk about the Blues in a second because I think the goaltending and how that's going to be in the future is a big topic. So when we look at the Flames, first off, I think we can agree. It sucks that the way we record, we're either great for some new stuff and we're late for others. Like we are, because of the time we record, we are obviously late after the Flames got eliminated. So I don't know how interested people are hearing our thoughts on the Coleman goal. I thought it should have counted. Did you? Do you think it should have counted? Did you think?
It's so weird. Yeah. So originally I thought it should have counted. Right. Okay. I think based on like other kicking motion goals we've seen in the past, I thought that's a clear goal.
Yeah.
Where it becomes interesting for me is when I was hearing, I think it was Kevin Bieksa who was talking about it, the player's perspective on it, where it was like, Coleman's kind of just tricking us into thinking he's not kicking it into the net, which again, I would believe, but again, I just think the rule is so stupid. Like, can we just like clarify everything? Like, I feel like we've been talking about that for like since episode 1 of this podcast. Can we just clarify every rule? Because I feel like time and time again, we're having this conversation.
If I'm a GM or a player this offseason, I'm saying, listen, we need to figure out goaltender interference, and we need to figure out the kicking stuff, because those have been 2 very big problems this year.
And
there were a few
last year.
offsides, but like, but like the offsides, I feel like with the plane edit, it's been a little better.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's the kicking stuff is getting really dumb. I thought it should have counted. It seems to be a lot of former players say that it shouldn't have counted. It was going in to me. I thought listen, let's get this out the way. The Flames did not deserve to win that series.
Oh, 100%. No, that was irrelevant.
It may have cost them the game. I'm willing to think that maybe they would have shut it down. I know it was a wild series, and there was no such thing as a one and done goal. It was always a series, a flurry of goals, some might say. But I just look at it and I think, did they get screwed that game? Yeah. I saw Will say that him and his brothers or his brother, I think he said, was debating what was worse, that or the Game 7 goal against Tampa when they went to the finals. I would say the finals no matter what, because it's the finals. But like the Flame, like Markstrom in game, I think it was 4. I don't think he was actually that bad. I thought the defensive coverages were awful. But game 5, the McDavid series winning goal, I thought was very bad. Like, I thought that was soft. It's just, we all kind of say, hey, McDavid did it, got him past, gets the OT winner, that sends the Oilers to the Final Four. I thought the Markstrom goal was not. I will say, I hinted at it earlier, I was extremely wrong about this series. I said that the Flames were going to destroy the Oilers, and boy, do I look stupid. So does Wayne Gretzky. First round, he was perfect. Second round, he's not looking great. Not looking great, Wayne.
No, like, the thing with the Oilers, and I think my thing with the Oilers is I don't know what to expect. I think funny. Is the thing.
No, sorry. Mike Smith has like the Nylander effect where it's like 10 good games. And then instead of Nylander going quiet for 10 games, Smith is awful. So here's the thing. If the Oilers just have that thing of a goalie gets hot at the right time and he steals you a series,
right?
Smith could have one of his Smith series and they could win a cup. Because then McDavid just does it all. Now, you can't shut down McDavid, but if you do, then the Oilers are kind of screwed because he's the only one scoring. And Evander Kane is part of that line, so I extend the leash to him as well. Not the leash, sorry. I put the highlighter about that line goes the full spread of it.
It's crazy what happens when penalties get called against, for McDavid.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's the Jets had no right.
It's crazy.
Listen, I think they still would have won the series. I don't think Oilers get swept, obviously.
No.
But that was a very flawed Oilers team. You got to remember now they obviously have Hyman. They have
I know. Yeah. But still,
again, I'm not giving credit to Evander Kane, but I'm just saying his play style is good and he's a good player. But I don't like him, obviously.
Man, that guy's gonna get paid.
Oilers, I know.
We're gonna talk.
It's sickening. It's sickening. He does not deserve it. I know Oilers Twitter being like, he's a great. No, he's not. It's
crazy how that perception changed, where there was still, obviously when he signed, there was that part of the fan base where it was, I don't want to say it was split 50-50 because I'm not entirely sure, but there was a portion of the fan base that wasn't a fan of that move. And there was a portion that was a fan. And so quick how that portion that didn't like it kind of starting to shift.
Put up a note about
it's crazy what success does.
I just listen, man. He's, like I said, it's not a surprise that he's on his best behavior, and it's not a surprise he's playing well with McDavid. Those are the 2 least surprising things about these playoffs to me.
Oh yeah.
And again, they're gonna do something dumb and keep him, but great. It's so difficult because I look at, obviously cheer for McDavid. I'm cheering for Brett Kulak, but I just don't want Evander Kane to win the cup. I don't want it to happen.
It's okay. The Tampa Bay Lightning will stop it.
Or Colorado.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Nugent Hopkins too, because the man has a new coach every year.
He has been through hell and back.
Yeah, he has.
Just with the Oilers.
I like him. I like Nugent Hopkins. I like him. Some people joke The Habs are going to get to draft and Nugent Hopkins in number 1. I'm like, I'll take it. It's a good player.
Good player.
I like him. And if they can just develop him properly,
family,
then maybe it'll be better. But we'll see.
Does he have a good family though?
I would assume.
Shane Wright, or does he? I don't know. You just got.
I actually listened to an interview with Scott Wheeler, who's on the Support Athletic.
Yeah.
Marc-Antoine Gardner and Alpon Basu. Love that pod. And Blake Wheeler. He didn't go. Not Blake Wheeler. Scott Wheeler. Went into a lot of good stuff about Shane Wright. I don't think he so much talked about his family, but it sounds good.
It was just a Mike Babcock.
I know.
Okay, just to be clear.
From a good family. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Frankie Corrado's great. Do you think we talked about Markstrom? Okay.
The Flames.
So looking also at Calgary, I mean, let's just be honest, they blew it. Like they actually the Battle of Alberta to me was worth it. Like it was everything we wanted. But there wasn't as much violence as maybe I would have personally liked, but the scoring and the insanity of goals from the other side of the ice and just these scoring changes and all that, it was an insane series. They
absolutely blew it. I think you're right 100% on that. And I don't know. I enjoyed watching the Battle of Alberta. I just wish it went to 7 games. Like I think that's the only thing I'd have to complain. I feel like Game 7 Battle of Alberta would have been nuts, like in every aspect.
Yeah, well, too bad. Calgary blew their load on the Dallas Stars and Michael Raffl.
They really did. Like it's so disappointing. Like I'm not saying I'm necessarily surprised by Edmonton. I think they have it. They had it in them. It's just everything had to click, and it did. And it did 100%, and credit to them for that, for making everything click, from the coaching to the goaltending to the defense and McDavid just being McDavid.
Yeah.
And it was just disappointing from Calgary's perspective because, they had such a good regular season. And I mean, playing Dallas, despite what everyone says, I think 2 or 3 years ago showed that they're going to be a problem to play against, just the way they play, just the players they have. They're going to be a problem to play against. And to me, every time I watched the Flames in Edmonton, it just felt like the Flames were trying to play Edmonton's game. And that's going to fail. Not that this roster can. I just don't think the roster is built in that way to keep up with the speed of the Oilers.
There's a lot wrong with. Listen, first off, Ottinger, I think, just may have ruined Calgary's psyche a bit. I thought at the end of the day, if Markstrom was just a little better, not 860, we have a different series. It felt like more than just the Flames do. And listen, there's a lot wrong. I at least think with a lot of individuals on the Flames this playoffs. But the big thing with me is just Markstrom. I think that's the number one reason they lost is Markstrom. Like, listen, I thought Johnny Gaudreau maybe had a monkey off his back when he got that Game 7 winner against Dallas, but then he fizzled in the second round. Matthew Tkachuk was... I have been so disappointed with Matthew Tkachuk in these playoffs in general. I know people were speculating maybe his hand after the Michael Raffl fight. And Michael Raffl was kind of like Freddy Krueger, I think, right now. It's just he's stuck in rent-free in Matthew Tkachuk's mind right now. Like, why did you put yourself on Michael Raffl's level? You go and send like Trevor Lewis after him. Why?
Milan Lucic.
Yeah, Milan. What else is Milan doing right now? Well, now they're all golfing, but I think there's a lot wrong with Calgary in this series. They somehow continue to disappoint. They really are Leafs of the West.
They really are. And the thing with Tkachuk, I just wanted to add, I felt like I didn't hear about him enough, and not in the he scored a goal, he got an assist or points. It's when Matthew Tkachuk tries to stir the pot, we hear about it. I felt like after the Michael Raffl stuff, I didn't hear about it.
It's kind of like, we remember obviously the rivalry with Cassian was a big point.
Yeah.
You look at, if only, you know what I forgot about until just now. Think of how fun that first round series against the Kings would have been for Matthew Tkachuk. Oh, no, what am I thinking? They weren't even playing them. Never mind. I was going to say, imagine if we had a first round matchup with the Flames, and then you had Tkachuk versus Doughty. But that, sir, I think where my brain was going there, even though it was the Oilers, not the Flames who played them, it was that, like, that's the Tkachuk we know. And I just don't think he was a rat bastard. You can steal with a bad hand. Like, look at Draisaitl. That's a great player. Tkachuk was a 100-point player this year and was just non-existent. So on that note, for the Flames, this is reported from Elliot Freeman on Hockey Night in Canada. I'm not even going to say 32 thoughts. No, we're just going to say Hockey Night from now on. It's so much easier.
Okay.
He said that obviously there are 3 big free agents coming out, that being Gaudreau as a UFA, then RFA being Tkachuk and Andrew Mangiapane, who I have called Bread Boy in the doc. Apparently, the Flames, according to Elliott, will start with Gaudreau and Tkachuk. They'll go after them quickly and they'll be aggressive, which I'm sure the Tkachuk's hear and go, very good.
I think from a Flames perspective, I would try to get, if you're okay, I don't want to insinuate that they don't want to bring Tkachuk back, but I think you get the point.
I can't wait to hear this.
With Matthew Tkachuk, I think you want to get this done as quickly and just as quickly as possible, because the last thing I think the Calgary Flames need from a PR standpoint with their fans is to have a Tkachuk fest over the summer, because and I don't blame them. I don't blame the Tkachuks for this. You do whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
Get your money. Yep.
Get your money. Talk in the media. Do whatever you want. It gives us stuff to talk about. You do not need what happened with Brady Tkachuk to happen with the Calgary Flames.
So I wonder if it's in the same breath as Brady, that once he signs a long-term deal, does Matthew become captain? Because that's been the thing for years, is that he would be the next guy after Giordano. Unless for some reason I have completely missed it and the Flames have a new captain, but I don't think.
No, they don't have a new captain, but that would make a hell of a lot of sense, because if that's the guy, you're like, again, he's 24 years old. He's going to be 25 in December, but again, still relatively young. And that's a guy you can completely build around. Let's say if Johnny Gaudreau does not come back, hypothetically.
I think we can both acknowledge he sees that Philadelphia are going to pay him all the money he wants. So Speaking of money, does Matthew get more than Brady?
Just let me quick double check. Brady was in the 8s.
I believe so. Yes. Because he makes more than Nick Suzuki, which I always laugh at.
He makes 8.2. I mean, I'd say
that's a big number for top line players, eh? Zibanejad and that's the same number we were talking about with Kadri.
Yeah.
A lot of 8 millions going around lately, a lot of them.
Okay. I would say he gets more than Brady. I think I think we know what Matthew Tkachuk can be, and the issue is that when we needed him to, when the Flames needed him to be Matthew Tkachuk, he wasn't Matthew Tkachuk.
When Will needed him
to be Matthew Tkachuk, he was not Matthew Tkachuk, and that's, I think, where it comes down to. I think if you look at what Matthew Tkachuk can bring to the team. He's a 100-point player. He's an absolute pest to play against. Like he's essentially, this is a comparison I think is fair. I'm not saying their stature wise they're the same, but Matthew Tkachuk and Brad Marchand are like quite, especially Brad Marchand recently, where he's taken in the last few years, he's taken this next step. I think they play in a similar manner. They can score, and they're absolute rat bastards to play against.
I would argue that Matthew needs to take a different path. When Marchand, as he's gotten older, has been less of a rat, I think Matthew needs to become more of one again.
100%. But and during the regular season, he was able to do both at the best of his ability. That got him 100 points. So
it took
yeah,
Marchand a while to do that.
Right. And so I think absolutely he can get more than 8 point. I think he's worth more than 8.2. It's a matter of when it actually comes down to it, is he going to be Matthew Tkachuk?
Yeah. I wonder if he looks at like a Kucherov number. 9.5. Yeah. Obviously he's not Kucherov, but he could say, that deal's a couple years ago when it's off because of the Florida tax and all of that. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the 9s. That's a feeling I have, or maybe he just says, I would, Matthew's going to want more than his brother so he can rub it in his face, obviously, which right. It would be pretty good. It would be pretty good. They also, again, the Flames have a good bit of roster turnover too. When you just you look at it. Obviously they don't have their first round pick this year because they traded Tyler for Tyler Toffoli, but luckily they have him for some term. He's 2 years away. Cap Friendly has rolled over. So, he'll be a free agent in 24.
Let's go.
Not 25, as I thought for a second. Backlund's coming back. They have Lucic for another year. Coleman will be back. Lindholm back. Toffoli, obviously. Dylan Dubé, who was on that World Junior team. I think he was the captain. And then Majapani RFA, Tkachuk RFA, UFAs, Ryan Carpenter. Oh, yeah. Johnny Gaudreau, Calle Yarncroke, who they gave up a lot, not a lot, but they gave up some picks for. Trevor Lewis and Brett Ritchie. The Flames only have a 2nd and a 5th and a 7th this year. They've scattered their picks a lot. Like in next 2 years, they don't have their first, and they don't have like a pair of 3rds, and then like in 23, 24, they're missing some 5ths and like some 7ths and that. So, and then on defense, Shillington's up. Good Branson is up. Stone is up. Zadorov is off. But Shillington does have arbitration rights, and he is an RFA. And also, Dan Vladar is RFA.
Next year.
ARB rights. I don't know if you can. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm looking.
It rolled over.
But everyone before that applies the same. Yeah.
The one thing I think, I guess, if we're looking next year for the Flames, is that I'd say they got 3 decent guys playing down the middle.
Hold on, one more thing. Monahan is a UFA.
No, he's a UFA next year.
Next year? Oh, I hate
the rollover. The rollover. That was my point. So you got Lindholm, Backlund, and Monahan.
Unless he gets bought out.
Unless he gets bought out, 100%. Again, I think we know how important center depth is.
Yep.
I'll go look at the Golden Knights and what they've been trying to do for the last few years and trying to fix their center depth. So for them to start off the bat with those 3 guys, I don't think is the worst thing in the world.
What's next for St. Louis? Because Binnington lost his job in the regular season, gets hurt. 5 years remaining, no trade clause, by the way. Ville Husso is a UFA. Beside that, Mikula is up. Perunovic is up. Both RFAs. Nicoletti, of course, the rental is up. Calle Rosen is out. And I don't think you bring him back after he ended Binnington's season. Perron, I did not know is up. That's interesting. Tyler Bozak is up, who, of course, won Game 5 for them. Good for Bozak, which was a really weak goal, by the way, anyway. And besides that, everyone else is coming back. But I think that big question is in net. Is it Binnington? Or is it Husso?
Okay. That's yes. That's a good question.
Because Husso was not amazing in the playoffs.
He was not amazing in the playoffs. No, obviously. Ooh. Well, here's the thing. So Jordan Binnington has a no trade clause.
Mm-hmm.
So
which doesn't help.
It's a full no trade clause. So if he doesn't want to go there, he's not going.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think obviously that's your biggest barrier. And I know a few people were linking him. Do you have news?
No, but I think I know where he could go.
Like I think a few people are linking him to Edmonton. I don't know if that's the name you were saying.
He'd fit in.
He would fit in.
He'd fit right in Alberta.
Why is that?
Oh, come on, Alec. I mean, those tweets tell a certain story, don't they? Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
where do you
Edmonton,
think?
yeah.
Where do you think he was? Where do you think
Well,
he's?
who needs a goaltender and
Who?
who a cup-winning goaltender to get them over the hump?
Don't even suggest
Toronto
it. I
Maple.
don't even
No,
want. I
no,
don't even
no.
want him. Stop. I don't want that.
The Philadelphia Flyers to give Carter Hart some real competition. No, don't do that, Philly. Please don't.
Is there? Okay, can I ask
Or
this
New
question
Jersey.
though?
But I don't know because
Then
you said the never mind because you brought up the trade protection, right?
Can-
Maybe he doesn't want to go there.
is it at any way possible that they just bring Wells back?
Nah. Bennington doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's just going to sit down and be like, "Yeah, I'll share them that." I
But
would
that's
say
the way of the goalie, though. Is
what
that
about
not
Washington?
Yeah, you need someone other that. I don't know. I'm not convinced that like both. Not convinced that one of them is gone next year. Like,
How about this then? Here's what I'll throw at you.
okay,
Can they afford to pay Husso the way a team can in free agency and afford to keep two goalies making a lot of money? Because don't forget, they traded Jake Allen, who was making 4 something, which was funny to me. I remember being like, "What are you doing, honey?" Thank you for him, by the way. We love him.
Okay, so they have $9.7 million in cap space.
And they've got to re-up some defensemen. And
Correct,
David
they got to re-up some defensemen. But what we're not talking about is, and maybe I've completely missed it if it's been rescinded, but Vlad Tarasenko.
Yes, that's a good one.
Is he still want to be traded, or is he willing to stay in St. Louis? Because I think to me, a lot rides on that. If he's staying in St. Louis, then yes, there are some moves that are probably going to have to be made this offseason. But if he's willing to leave, if he still wants to leave and you trade him, you're opening up some options here. Now, you're not going to obviously just offload $7.5 million. Money is going to have to come back. But what you can bring back are pieces that you need. So I don't think it's necessarily set in stone that one of Binnington or Husso are gone. That's just me.
You know what's funny about Tarasenko? Points wise, he had a career year.
He did.
Yeah, that's really funny. I wonder if that relationship's been fixed. It is a very good question. That's an answer you need because 7.5 can get you a lot of room. But then the question is, if they lose him, and let's say Perron goes, a lot of cap space, but who fills their production? Because listen, you have Thomas and Kyrou. They're their own thing, but what made St. Louis so special that year was their sort of forward depth. So that's what I wonder is, can you replace both those guys' production internally? It's not a great situation they're in right now. And do you know what contract I look at? I'm like, man, did you really need to sign Scandella to that contract? 3.2. You could probably move him, but I think you might have to give something up. Like Arizona, I don't know if he has any.
He has a 7-team no trade list.
Oh yeah, no, sorry Arizona, never mind. But yeah. that's it's never the big guys you pay; it's the middle guys, and Scandella's a middle guy.
Oh, okay. And here's another question I think we have to ask. So I don't want to elongate this conversation on the St. Louis Blues, but
no worry. Yeah.
What does a Ville Husso contract look like?
That's a very good
money wise.
4.5 million, maybe, or 5. I know that seems kind of weird, but I'm thinking of the Cal Peterson comparable, which I believe was 4.5, maybe 5. There's I don't know if St. Louis would do it, but I reckon there's a team dumb enough. Maybe it's Edmonton. I just listen. I wonder if a team will look at it and think, hey, it was the Colorado Avalanche. Maybe it'd be different for us. Or maybe it's around the 3 range. I doubt he takes, because he is the UFA, right? So It's not like it's who am I thinking of, a young goaltender? Because it's not like you're buying UFA years. These are the prime years now. You're going to have to pay.
It's a tough one because I think, again, like that's a deciding factor. Can you keep, if the number is at $3 million, hypothetically, like you mentioned there, why can't you keep both of them? But now if we're entering the $4.5-5 million range, then I think it's different. Like, I think that's a little too much money.
He picked a hell of a time to have a career here, didn't he?
He very much did. Like, geez Louise, man.
I love it. Pennington chose a perfect time to help him get paid. It's funny, man. We'll see what happens with St. Louis, though. A lot of questions there, but maybe they take a step back next year. Who knows? And if they're not good enough next year, you mentioned Tarasenko. Wouldn't be surprised if they traded him, given the old Shattenkirk treatment. Yeah,
at the deadline.
Because Armstrong's done it before, right?
Can I ask you this question too, since we're there?
Sure.
You know who also up? Did you have their cap friendly up?
I closed it.
Okay, so you might know who also is up next year
for St. Louis.
Yeah,
is O'Reilly?
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't think you can afford to keep the both goalies anyway, because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. He's gonna get a lot of money. That's how much does he make now? Like 7.5. Well, he's getting more money than that. You get more money than that. That's tough.
We could have that. It could be a very interesting trade deadline next year.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Oh my God. They have a next offseason actually might be brutal. So Vlad and O'Reilly are up.
Yeah, tough.
Plus Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas are also up.
Yeah, I wonder where that money's going. Yeah. No. So Husso's gone. Husso or Binnington are gone. Like 100%.
I didn't even notice that. You know what? Scrap the last 7 minutes worth of conversation. Someone's gone.
That is extremely tough. Oh man, the cap needs to go up really badly.
Holy crap! Yeah,
you know who we're all waiting for? The moment July 1st opens, or whenever the date is, I don't remember if it actually is this year. McKinnon extension eligible. I'm interested to see if that man takes a discount like he said he would.
That's true.
Takes 8.
Are we going to talk about that for 12 months though? Can we do that?
No,
let's just start talking about it. Can we just do that right now? I'm surprised we haven't already been talking about it. Why is the conversation so quiet?
Because he plays in Colorado.
Okay, well, let's start the conversation.
Okay.
I'm just
joking. Do that later. Okay.
No, I don't want to do that.
So yeah, McKinnon McDavid is going to be gross, by the way. Just say that. They're going to so much fun. Okay. Rangers have forced Game 7. So the Hurricanes, I think, are the first team in postseason history. Let me see. I think I hyperlinked it here. I could be wrong. Oh no, this is the JFresh comparable. Let me double check. I have some screenshots right here. I just want to double check that I have it right. The Hurricanes have lost 6 straight road games this postseason, or are yet to hold the lead. Yeah, no, that wasn't it. I had something that was like they're the first team in NHL history to have this stretch of road games and not win any of them. Some of the advanced numbers, they're just I see them and it's from JFresh. Let me see if I can just quickly. I won't screen share because it's just numbers. They're just gross. But check them out here, and it's just basically everything is on the negative. Apparently, except Jacob Slavin. Apparently, he's been better on the road, which is how. But they are just last change. Isn't that effective? What's happening? I seriously cannot understand why the Hurricanes are so bad on the road. So this way, they have to hope that Colorado lose. Otherwise, they're losing in 6. Otherwise, maybe they just keep trading, but they have to be the higher seed, and they're just going to win everything in 7.
It's okay. They won't beat the Lightning if they get there. So,
do you think they're going to beat the Rangers in 7?
I'm not wholly convinced.
Let me just get a timestamp to send this to Mike because he's already going to do it himself.
I'm not convinced that the Hurricanes beat the Rangers, to be honest.
Really? Is that Shesterkin going hard or what?
Okay, so what's been the if you look back at that first series against the Penguins, at the end, we saw Shesterkin fall off a little bit just because it looked like he was tired. Is that the case here?
No.
What can steal you a series and a game?
A goaltender.
A goaltender.
Who can listen. here's what's funny is the last 2 years we've had two teams make it to the cup final that are flawed teams, but they both had goaltenders going on absolute heaters. Price was a bit different because it's Carey Price, but then you had why can't I remember his Coleman, who instantly turned to dust, but was on this miracle run, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, the Rangers have a more impressive core in team than both the Canadians of last year and the Stars of the bubble. I'm not saying they're going to, guarantee win 7 or they're going to guarantee beat whoever they play. So it's just Tampa or Edmonton or Colorado. But like, if the Rangers get there, the thing is, like their top guys have been kind of streaky here. And well, not even streaky. You can't really be streaky in the playoffs. It's just been like flashes. And like Panarin, I need more from. Zibanejad, I need more from. You know what I mean? Like that's like at least to me, 100%. If they're going to win Game 7, that's what they need. Like Cop and Vetrano cannot keep being or like pushing the bus here, guys.
Oh, 100%. And I think if you look at what the best teams do, yes, Nick Paul won Tampa Bay the first series against the Leafs, but I think for the most part, I just thought the top guys were the top guys, and the same against Florida. Yeah, they had no Braden Point. And wiped the floor with the Panthers.
They did.
Listen. Sorry, it's not about the Lightning. It's about the. I think. I don't know if the Rangers will win.
All about Tampa Bay.
So, I don't know if the Rangers are going to win, but I'm not going to easily count them out because I'm dumbfounded first off by the Hurricanes not being able to win on the road. That's mind-boggling. But I think you have I don't know. They beat them 5-2.
You know what was funny about that game too? Shesterkin had 2 assists. When was the last time you saw a goaltender have 2 points? How? That's insane to me. He has more points than Kotkaniemi does, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kotkaniemi has a single assist.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, but now he'll get the game winner in Game 7 because he's good in the playoffs. Hasn't been in this playoff, but he will. Watch.
Fair.
Listen. The Canes have a chance because Game 7's in Carolina, right?
100%.
That's the big thing.
But I think both of us know best. A goaltender can absolutely steal you a game.
Listen, McDavid and the Oilers broke their curse. The Avs have done the same. Now we got to see if Carolina can get over their hump.
Okay, who do you think is going to win?
I just think it has to be the Canes. I just look at their
time mark this.
I think it's the Canes. Listen, the Rangers wouldn't surprise me if they won because they just have some magic around them.
Yeah.
But the Canes it is the year of breaking the curse. Unless you're the Leafs, sorry. Unless you're the Leafs, because it's never it's just not allowed. But it just feels like as long as they're at home, I always think they have the chance to win. By the way, God help the Canes if they win. Play Tampa because Tampa are going to steal at least one game at home, and if you falter on the road versus the Lightning, you're just not going to win.
Oh, you're going to get eaten up alive.
Like Vasilevsky won't be difficult for him. Won't be difficult for him. So listen, they got to figure this out because if they lose to the Rangers, there has to be changes. I refuse to get off of this.
Okay, let's not get too far ahead. I agree.
Yeah,
let's have that conversation when they lose. I don't think. I don't know, man.
So Jeff Merrick last night on the Hockey Night also said that apparently Andrew Kopp has gotten himself into the Zach Hyman, Phil Deneau contract space.
Good for him.
Which I thought, okay, no, like about 5.5-ish, 6-7 years. It's like, listen, we can't like the Blake Coleman space. I think we need to be careful about who's getting these. I like Kopp, good player, but let's just sort of. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but like. We're going to hit another Matt Bolesky contract soon. Let's just be careful with it, is all I'm saying.
I agree.
You could say he's been the best Ranger since the deadline.
He has been he has 18 points in 16 games in the regular season, 8 goals, 10 assists. And in the playoffs, he has 5 goals, 10 points in 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I don't know if he's going to get that contract. But if I'm the Rangers, and I think Mike would agree with this too, I would look at what it takes to bring him back. I think he's been, from day one, I think he's been quite effective on that team. And I'd be interested to hear what Mike thinks on where he fits on that lineup. Not that he's is he your second line? Is he a second line center? I think is a question that I'd be interested to hear his answer, or else we're having the same, because if he's not and you re-sign him, then we're having the same conversation we've had for the last, 2-3 years about Ryan Strome.
If Strome's gone, how do you replace that? Is he going to be a better option than a Shifley or something? Because here's the problem too, is you got Trouba at $8 million,
mm-hmm.
Fox at 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
You've got middle guys like Barclay Goodrow, and he was at 3.5. You got to be careful about who you give the money to. And if he can be a second line center proper, then he's worth the money. But if not, you're going to have an anchor of a deal on him. Someone would take it back, take it from you. But I feel like you might have to, in this cap world that we're in right now, I have a feeling it's not going to be easy to move if he can't properly be that player. 100%. Credit to him. Bet on himself in Winnipeg.
For sure.
And look at where we are. Continues to be what a mess of a year in Winnipeg, by the way.
Brutal.
Yeah. Okay. Jason Spezza has retired. What is it? 10 points shy of 1,000? 5. That's 5? Oh, Jason. Immediately will start being the advisor to the GM, Kyle Dubas. We all knew this was going to happen, as in, the moment he retired, the organization were going to bring him in. It's nice that he'll be around. And it was also nice that the Sens PR account tweeted out, congrats to Jason Spezza. Because let us never forget, the man made his name in Ottawa. So I just wanted to say it was good that they did that. I hope also they can repair that relationship.
Considering the ending there.
Yeah, exactly. Like with all their star players. Oh, goodness gracious. By the way, shout out to Thomas Chabot taking that penalty that cost Canada the game today, the gold medal. It's always a sign, isn't it? I wonder if that's the second gold medal that Chabot's gotten, because I think the World Junior team he was under Dom Ducharme, they were silver. Anyway, what am I doing here? Jason Spezza, how do you feel about the news?
I'm not necessarily surprised.
Mm-hmm.
By the fact that he retired. This year compared to the last 2 years, I think the Leafs just had other options that frankly were better and needed the ice time. And I think that was the right decision. I think what he brought most to this team wasn't necessarily always on the ice. I thought a lot of it was, and we saw it after game. Oh my God, what game was it? I try not to think about this. Was it game 6? He had the speech.
I think 5? So. Was it? I think it was 5.
Okay.
Was it 5, the first intermission of game 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the first intermission of game 5. He had that speech in the locker room. And I think with that, for me, that moment defined what Jason Spezza was to the Leafs in terms of, yes, I think.
So the fight again in the Blue Jackets.
The fight against the Blue Jackets, the only one who looked like he cared in game 7 against Montreal.
Love it.
Obviously he's an Ottawa Senator, but what he brought to this team when he was playing was what I wish every single player on this team brought when they were playing. And I think we've slowly started to see that. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you up, but I think we've slowly started to see that in some of the guys. And I wonder how much of an influence he's been. Similar to, go look at his contract was massive, but go look at the impact that Patrick Marleau had on Matthews and Marner at the very beginning of their career. I wonder if Jason Spezza added on to what Patrick Marleau, I think, gave them.
I bet he could be a pretty good recruiter as well.
Oh,
Pretty guy seems to love the city. Took those leagueman contracts. Because you mentioned that Habs series, I just wanted to mention. Do you know what a year ago today was?
I don't know.
Jesperi Kotkaniemi scoring in Game 6 to send it to 7. I was at that game. Never forget. It was great. Sorry, I had to.
No, it's
fair. I had to.
I just
which
don't
means
know. I don't know what you want me to say.
in 2 or 3 days is the anniversary of Game 7. God, I'll never forget. The next month is going to be really sad for Habs fans because it's just going to be the anniversary of all the big goals. It's just going to be, it's going to be sad. And in Game 5 against Tampa, Shea Weber's last game. I wanted to mention future and net with you, but I wanted to have Daniel here to talk about it, so maybe we can hold off.
Well, I can tell you Peter Mrazek probably won't be a part of it.
Yeah, what was that thing? There was a report saying they wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I'm assuming we both got that from the same source.
Oh, yeah. Mike sending stuff. Yeah. I love when he sends the same Puck Empire Instagram thing, and it's send me the one post. Don't delete the slides.
Have you told him
God
that?
Damn it. What?
Have you told him that?
I did. And he said, I'm doing it to annoy you. And I'm like, great, friend.
I guess he's doing that to annoy me too. That's fine. I can live with it.
100%. The Habs also reported on the headlines last night by Jeff Merrick. The Habs are going to be meeting with Shane Wright tomorrow because it's the start of the NHL draft combine. So that'll be interesting. Apparently the Devils are flying him and some other prospects out to speak with them. Cool. They better draft Shane Wright. I would draft Cooley ahead of Slafkovsky. I would draft one of the D ahead of Slafkovsky. I'm so against this guy now because of Grant McCagg.
It's all Grant's fault.
It is. I can't do it. People were like, Slafkovsky, great end to his tournament. People said Shane Wright too. He's like, you didn't watch the game. You didn't watch the game. What were you watching? You silly goose. So bad. Oh, Arpin Basu has an actual article actually talking about Shane Wright, and he watched all of his playoff games. Yeah. Again, Scott Wheeler also had some great stuff, and I trust Scott Wheeler's prospect evaluation a lot more.
Yeah, but was Scott Wheeler a former scout?
No, but still. Also, he doesn't talk to multiple current NHL scouts. What do you mean NHL scouts? Are they pro scouts that just go and watch NHL players? Because those are much different than watching teenagers who are not complete products. And forget these scouts. If you have a scout that doesn't think Shane Wright's a top 3 player, that is a bad scout. Get out of here. Oh, I hate it so much. Anyway, we're going to have the discussion closer to the draft. We're waiting for it. Kenobi time, Alex.
Kenobi.
First off, have you seen this? So Star Wars Celebration was a few days ago. Harrison Ford was there, which was funny because it's like, why? Because he hates Star Wars. It was to announce a new Indiana Jones movie, so of course. But we've had like Star Wars news, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned Gunji that he's alive, right?
You did mention that.
Bad Batch season 2 confirmed. Mandalorian season 3. More info on the Ahsoka series. What was it? The Jedi Tales thing I sent you? This can be like an anthology series.
Yes.
Ahsoka's going to be part of it. A young Dooku with his Padawan Qui-Gon. If anyone didn't know that, yeah, Qui-Gon was Dooku's freaking Padawan. Yes, that's a thing. So, sorry, I just got to nerd out for some Star Wars because I'm a massive Star Wars guy, right?
Go ahead.
The family tree is funny. Yoda obviously was the master of Dooku. Dooku Qui-Gon, Qui-Gon Kenobi, Kenobi Anakin, Anakin Ahsoka. It's a very awesome family tree if you think about it. Okay. And yeah, Gunji's alive. I'm so happy. So happy that Gunji's alive. I was so worried he was dead. So worried that little Wookiee was dead. Okay, the first 2 episodes of Kenobi, what'd you think?
I really like them.
Wait, hold on. Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 1 and 2 of Kenobi.
Okay, let's put it like this. If you're at this point in the podcast and have not watched the first 2 episodes of Kenobi, you are more than welcome to turn us off because I think we don't have any other hockey news. How
about if you just haven't watched it? What are you doing?
Yeah, that too.
Come back. What are you doing with your lives?
So I only had one issue with the with both episodes, and it's like really picky.
Okay.
If I'm being honest.
Okay.
I just felt a little underwhelmed by the Order 66 opening scene. I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I just wanted a little more.
It feels like they're going to come back to it.
Right. Okay. And if they're going to come back to it, then I don't care. But like, then this comment's irrelevant. But like the way they portrayed it in the Clone Wars, the way they portrayed it, even in Fallen Order. I know you've played Fallen Order, right?
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
Right. And like, I think it was just so like powerful. And this one just felt so like it wasn't the same way, right? The same way they did it in Revenge of the Sith, the same way they did it in the Clone Wars, the same way they did it in Fallen Order. It just felt a little underwhelming, but that's literally my only complaint, to be honest.
Here's why I can guarantee that I'm going to look like an idiot if I'm wrong here, why they're going to come back to it. Those younglings got away way too easily, which is okay. So do you know what the Inquisitors are?
I'm not entirely sure what the Inquisitors are.
Okay, so obviously they're the bad guys first off.
Yes.
With the double-bladed lightsabers that spin. The spinning thing is kind of dumb. We all acknowledge that. So there's a Vader comic from like 2018 or 16, I think, that actually explains what the Inquisitors were. So they're mostly fallen Jedi, right, who were turned to the dark side. And they actually work directly under Vader. It's like Vader, the Grand Inquisitor, and then the Inquisitors themselves. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm thinking. Reva, is it Reva? I always get it mixed up.
Yeah.
Reva. So I am convinced Reva's one of the Padawans who got away. I haven't rewatched it to see if there is a black child in the scene to make sure it is her, but I am convinced they're going to go back to it because those kids got away way too easily. Like the clones are going to be watching the front door. Like it's the 501st. They're going to be thorough about this. Like we're still wondering, like, how did Grogu get out in the Mandalorian? I need to know that.
I haven't seen the Mandalorian, so that.
Okay, so anyway, okay,
but I'll watch it eventually.
Like, you have to. It's so good. Anyway, watch the first 2 seasons. Watch Book of Boba Fett, and then watch season 8 when it comes out. You'll understand.
Okay.
So I'm convinced that she is, right? She had to be one of those younglings because they have to come back to that because it was too quick. There was something off there. I think Reva's going to get killed by Vader too because it is whenever someone mentions Anakin to Vader, he kills them. So the fact that she knows who he is a massive red flag to me because it's very secret with Anakin. There's this other comic where Jocasta Nude, like the librarian Jedi, calls him Anakin as he's Vader to like these clones, and he kills them because he's like, you can't know who I am. So I'm interesting to see her origin too.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. And I like that. My first thought was like, okay, so how does she know who he is? All right. And I really hope, obviously, I'm sure they're gonna go down that path, but like I want to know like right now. Can they just release the entire series like now?
There was that mention of looking through the archives. Like what archives? Like the one on like not even just like Anakin's death. Because I'm pretty sure, at least in the extended universe, Anakin's death is well known to the public. Obviously, people don't know he's Vader, but like Anakin is known as like a big hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like both in the Jedi and to the people. They make a big point of, again, another extended universe thing. Like if you look at Republic propaganda, Anakin's at the front of it for obvious reasons. Like it's whole part of the Palpatine's plans. So I wonder if it's going to be a thing of Obi-Wan saves her, turns her to the light side, and Jedi Fallen Order spoilers, like what happens with the Ninth Sister. Vader's like, you failed me, and then he kills her. That's what I wonder is going to happen. By the way, I'm fascinated to see what they do with Vader's voice.
Yeah, actually, I was having that conversation today.
What do you think they do?
I'm not sure. Like, I feel like they can use Hayden Christensen's voice and kind of do what they did with, oh my God, it's pissing me off. I don't remember his name.
They do it with Grievous. They do like the guy does his voice and they modulate it.
Yeah, they can do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's happening because they did have him there. I don't know if he's going to be in every episode, but they did have him on set. There was like pictures and everything there. I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that. And I think it would work quite well.
And did you mean what they originally do with James Earl Jones?
James Earl Jones. Yeah. That's who I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So did you know that episode? So when Obi-Wan arrives on, I forget what planet, is it Onderon? I can't remember. I think it's Onderon, the planet where he goes to rescue Leia. Okay. Did you know the girl he talks to that he gets the drugs from?
Is his daughter?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's neat.
I saw that on TikTok. I thought that was quite cool. Also, you know what else I saw on TikTok?
What?
So you know the fighter that he gives to Luke?
Yes.
And then Uncle Owen's like, "Nah, I don't need this. Get out of here, bro."
Dick, by the way. Yeah.
Is the same one I think
that Luke has. Yeah.
Luke has. Okay.
That's adorable. See, remember that episode of Clone Wars? It's the arc when Clovis is like getting close to Padme, and it's like, and there's that scene at the Jedi Temple when Obi-Wan's talking to Anakin about it, and Anakin has like this little toy ship he's playing with. It's a subtle little thing that.
Okay.
I wanted to mention also in that scene, the 501st Clone Trooper.
Yes.
I nearly lost it. I thought like Obi-Wan was about to go full PTSD on the same thing. Yeah. He gave him the thing. That was another moment where I'm like, I love it. This is very good. That's a subtle, nice little Easter egg.
It was. And no, I don't know how many people would have noticed that, but probably a lot of people.
The color thing right away was.
Yeah, it was. I didn't clue in on it at first. It took me a bit.
Depending on when that clone came into service, he might know Obi-Wan and just not realize it.
That's
because
true.
The 501st works so closely with Obi-Wan in that.
That's true.
So I'm wondering if they bring Commander Cody back. That's what I'm interested to see. Ooh. He was in the Bad Batch season 2 trailer.
Yeah.
But I'm in. Like, where's Rex? Darren, where's Captain? Oh no, he's Commander Rex. He got promoted, didn't he? You love to see it. We mentioned Uncle Owen.
Yeah.
I hate, but I understand him. Because I get it. He's got the kid, but you gotta trust Obi-Wan. Come on.
Yeah, it's like you get, I guess you understand from like that line. I thought that was like, wow, I'm like, holy crap. I did not expect him to go there when he goes, I must train him. And he goes, like you did his father. I'm like, oh.
Palpatine's fault. Leave him alone.
That would hurt me. And I'm like, I'm not even involved.
Because the cats will fail Ahsoka, damn it. Watch Clone Wars, Uncle Owen.
Yeah, Uncle Owen, watch Clone Wars. Okay.
Same with you, Daniel. Watch it. Everyone watch it. It's so good.
It is a very good show. I might just watch it tonight.
Okay.
So, a couple episodes.
How much do you know about the Grand Inquisitor, by the way?
Not a lot.
Okay, so he, funny enough, was a temple guard, and he was present in the uniform for Ahsoka Tano's trial in Clone Wars for the bombing of the temple that she was trained for, right?
Yeah.
And you've learned about his backstory in Star Wars Rebels, and he's a big part of that show.
Is that a good show? A couple people have told me to watch it, and I haven't gotten to it yet.
I've heard it's mixed, but apparently there are characters that are from Clone Wars that will appear, and when they are in it, it is the best quality ever.
Okay, most importantly, have you watched it?
I haven't.
Okay,
I've seen.
Then I feel like I don't need to watch it.
But I'll eventually watch it and let you know. But I'll tell you this: the best scenes, the ones I have watched, felt like Clone Wars. It's like there are clips where like, Alex, don't waste your time watching the whole thing. It feels like you need to watch to understand what's happening in Ahsoka, but I will send you scenes that you will get and that will make you cry.
Okay.
They're really good. Well, anyway, so the Grand Inquisitor is a really big part of that show, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's what I heard.
Rebels happens after Obi-Wan. So I don't understand, is the Grand Inquisitor dead? Because he shouldn't be. I was like, when did it happen? I'm like, wait a minute. That shouldn't be happening right now.
So you sparked something for me there. Am I like, is it not weird that, you actually confirmed something for me because I'm not sure if it's 100% true. I read that Kenobi is 10 years before episode 4.
Apparently, yes.
That's what apparently.
Yes.
Is no one going to talk about how much Obi-Wan ages?
It has been mentioned on Twitter. I have seen.
Okay, because it's a ridiculous amount.
Well, Ewan McGregor right now does not look like he's aged 10 years, which is is it 10 or 20 that happens after episode 3? Anyway, he hasn't aged poorly. You know what I mean?
No, and he doesn't look like that in real life. I think they've put some makeup on to make him look a little older than he looks in real life. Which is
ridiculous. He still doesn't look old.
No, he doesn't.
So like when he saves Leia, it's like the first time he's used the Force since like episode 3, right?
Right.
Is it me or whenever if he fights Vader, he's going to get his ass kicked? Or if he fights one of the Inquisitors, it feels like Obi-Wan's going to get the crap kicked out of him.
That's what it feels like. But wouldn't it be the most Star Wars storyline ever for him not to get his ass kicked? Wouldn't it feel like the good, especially like it would be the most, it wouldn't even be the most Star Wars. It would be the most Kenobi storyline for him to like rise up and defeat whoever he's fighting.
I don't know if it was just me, but I'm pretty sure there's this thing with Obi-Wan that he's actually not the greatest like lightsaber duelist, but he's very good at a certain style. And it's like a pure defense type one, like counterattacks and that. That's apparently why in the extended universe, he's always the one they go after Grievous. Like his style is so good against Grievous. So, and I don't know if it was just me, but in the fight scenes he had, it felt like a lot of his great attacks were like counter ones, like grapple, lay you out with a forearm or something. That's what I got. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it.
No, is Obi-Wan the Calgary Flames?
Well, just not a great little bit of offense, but alleged defense. Alleged. There wasn't much defense in that Oilers series. Wasn't much of it there. I
had to make the hockey reference.
I think it was good. I think it was good. I'm bothered by Reva knowing who Anakin is. It bothers me a lot. Okay. You know what's really funny?
Tell me.
A few weeks ago, before the show started, I was thinking to myself, we never got it explained to us, or I've never looked into it, why it is Leia knows Kenobi. If it's just the connection with Leia with Bail Organa. So when I saw Leia show up in the show, I'm kind of like, so this is what we're going to get. Okay. What do you think of Kid Leia? Because I kind of love how adorable, and like they mentioned that she's like Padme, but I love that you can see Anakin in her as well. Like I love young Leia a lot.
There's like this, because I was watching it with a friend this afternoon, or rewatching it with a friend this afternoon, and I said they did a really good job of fitting both of them into her. Mm-hmm. In terms of her personality, like you can see the stubbornness from Anakin, like clearly, and I think you can also see the curiosity and the what's the word I'm looking for here?
She also has like some playfulness from Anakin.
Yeah,
like when Obi-Wan's like, "Hey, I'm gonna pretend I'm your dad," and she's like, "Granddad, maybe."
Yeah, that's Anakin. That's
that scene when like it's one of the first scenes with Satine when they're on that ship and Anakin's like, "Go save your girlfriend, Obi-Wan," and Obi-Wan's like, "She's not my girlfriend, Anakin." Like it was. Let me make this clear. There's Clone Wars Anakin in there. Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah, I think. No, I was gonna say, and I think like I texted you after you had said you watched it. And I'm like, did the second episode, and this isn't a bad thing, it was just mainly an observation. The second episode felt like 2 episodes of Clone Wars put into one.
It did.
It had that like archetype feeling. And I wonder if that's what we're going to get going forward.
I hope so. So it feels like a lot of the footage we've seen is from the trailers. So I'm curious to see what the rest of them are going to look like. Like him running around the rooftops reminded me of the Clone Wars arc when he fakes his death, which is one of the best ones, by the way. And there's a bit of, you start seeing Anakin's distrust of the council in that arc. Very good, very good. But just for people saying that the reference of saying like, you're fierce and that and stubborn, it was not Satine. Why would, because people thought it was Satine, which I can get that, but like, there, so Leia's like, "I'm sorry," and he says, "I'm sorry too." That kind of pointed to me as like, yeah, sorry, your mom's dead.
Yeah,
and your dad was kind of responsible for it. Oh no, broken heart. Sorry, George. It didn't make sense. George, come on. I like Anakin, but that didn't make sense, George. Come on.
It didn't. Not a whole lot of sense, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, I surprised people were saying that. Like I immediately went to Padme.
I love it. Especially Clone Wars Padme. She's great. Two things quickly. The fact that Obi-Wan buried his lightsaber with Anakin's really hit me. So, and I want to say this. So I said that I hated that Rey buried Leia and Luke's lightsabers, right? Because I was like, that's Anakin's.
Right.
And you've just buried it on Tatooine, which he hates. And then people were saying, oh, hey there. People that criticize that scene are being really quiet right now.
That wasn't even the worst part of that scene, but we'll get to that.
Obviously not. But the difference here is Obi-Wan doesn't have Anakin's body. He thinks he's dead. It's his greatest failure. And what Obi-Wan is doing when he buries his lightsaber is he's putting his life behind him. And it's a way of, at least I interpret it, that he's saying goodbye to Anakin. All right?
Right.
It isn't this bullcrap, connection between the Skywalkers that wasn't even through.
She's not a Skywalker.
Like, stop it. Listen, I like Rey overall. I just think they ruined her in the third movie. You had it right at the end of Last Jedi when you're like, you're just normal. And then Kathleen Kennedy saying, oh, we were going to make her Obi-Wan's daughter. No. You don't need to do that. Not everyone's the chosen one.
Not everything has to be over the top.
But I did like it. And Kenobi,
that's how you know we've gone
down
the length.
Okay. Obi-Wan, by the way, whenever he uses that lightsaber, I'm going to cry like a baby. And the ending of episode.
Oh my God.
The best part for last. Anakin. Dad! And you see Vader in the back to tank.
I literally have goosebumps just thinking about it.
So, you know what I love about Vader in the Disney way of Star Wars?
What?
So if you watch the original trilogy, and I rewatched Empire Strikes Back last month, Vader isn't scary, but he's imposing.
Mm-hmm.
The voice, the costume. Disney have made him a monster.
Good.
Like the Rogue One scene.
Yeah, oh my God. That was the best scene.
Spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order. The end of Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh.
When you play that and you start the fight and he doesn't have a health bar, you're like, this isn't going to be fun. No. And then you turn around when you're running away to have a look at Vader and he kills you. You know what? And you are scared in that scene. I want to give a lot. Obviously, that's Respawn Studios, but I love what Disney has done with Darth Vader. Because I think you have to be extremely careful with Darth Vader because he's bigger than the franchise itself, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the most important fictional characters ever. And so far, it's been one scene. They've nailed Vader so far.
Nailed it.
I love it.
You know what? That's like, I'm just super excited because I'm looking way ahead here, but I believe they're doing a Vader series, are they not?
So I think Hayden Christensen said he'd be open to it.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope they do one.
I think if they do it, they got to be careful.
They do have to be careful.
But I think if you listen, I don't care how good The Mandalorian, it's great. Ahsoka, great. If you mess up Vader, then I don't think I can forgive you. Like that's the one thing you get Dave Filoni, and you let him. You get Bryce Dallas Howard direct it. That's it. Okay, I don't trust anyone except Dave Filoni to do it.
And Jon Favreau.
You can be there.
Can we talk about John? No one talks about Jon Favreau. I love Jon Favreau. I'm not gonna lie.
So, because he plays Happy, doesn't he, in Marvel?
He plays Happy, but like he's done some stuff before that. No one talks about it. He did shot Iron Man too. He directed it, I think.
Did you see that he's already writing season 4 of The Mandalorian? Which I'm very excited for.
Of course he is.
All right, we're going to talk about episode 3 next Sunday.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah, and then try and get Daniel's thoughts on the series. I bet it's actually not his sister's birthday, but he just hasn't watched Kenobi, and that's why he's stalling.
I don't think so.
Or maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both.
Who knows? We'll have to fact check.
Well,
he does have a sister. We know that.
We do.
Never seen her though.
No, we have not.
All right, we love Star Wars. We like hockey too, but like Darth Vader. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, my mic cut out at the end. Alex, remember to just edit that little bit out at the end. And yeah, next time you see us, Daniel still won't be back because he'll be in Kingston. So we'll talk about, I think the third round's actually supposed to start on Wednesday. So
on Wednesday?
I think so. I could be wrong on that, but hopefully it's earlier than that because otherwise we're not going to have Tuesday. Okay, good. So we're going to have something to talk about because otherwise it's Game 7 fallout and previewing one series.
I'll put it like this. We can also talk about Tuesday night. The Nighthawks play another game. So we could talk about that. I was
going to say, we could have talked about more Clone Wars, but I should have known better. I should have known.
We can make some calls. I can get some people on the show. Talk about the Guelph Nighthawks.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway. Company man, top man, Alex, Guelph Nighthawks. All right. We will see you Wednesday.